love it. The calls.
You'll eventually get the 20% back. That Silver Connect card is going to pay her co-payments. Remicade, I believe, is an injectable, and her hospitalization co-payments. And tell them to turn his Part B on.
Come on, man. And with the local DDC news, LL Cool J with a triumphant comeback. For a soul. But tonight, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
All right, that's it, Producer Tom. The music is changed because I'm going to shake things up a little bit. Of course, this is Michael Regan. The show is called Medicare and You. And the reason for the LL Cool J tune is I recently got in the Waterbury Observer. My friend John Murray did a great job on that. And GS Regan's been growing, getting some good clients, and people are saying, wow, you're really hot on the scene here. No, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for 21 years, always telling the truth, giving advice. Many times I've passed on a sale saying, keep what you have, it's a good product. Sooner or later, it's about time people trusted me, so great job on that. We knocked that out in the studio this morning. And we are going to have a show, besides Medicare and You, which is obviously my bread and butter. This show is going to be called Healthcare and You. Healthcare reform is really here to stay. The insurance exchanges are going to be here. I need everyone to be informed about the exchanges, what a navigator is, what an ombudsman is. You really need to be on top of this about federal poverty levels. So I am lucky enough to have Jason Madrak, M-A-D-R-A-K, Chief Marketing Officer of the Connecticut Insurance Exchange. We just changed the name, or actually me taking credit for this. They just changed the name to Access Health CT, so we'll go over that. We're going to have our typical Madrak Minute at the top of the hour because they've been the most faithful sponsors, and I'm on the board there, so I really pride myself on that. Stephanie Harris has always been good. She never lets me down, even in snowstorms. Stephanie, Michael Regan, how are you?
Good, Mike. How are you doing?
Good. You're just so loyal. Called me a little while ago. We're on today, right? I'm like, you know it.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's rock and roll.
Okay, well, we're all dug out here at the museum. The museum is open again. We're thankful for everyone's patience, but, we're back in business over here.
Beautiful. The funny thing is I actually saw some photos of the street and the museum and the YMCA. You guys got hammered.
Yeah, they were on the street this morning getting the last of the snow out with the bulldozers and the big trucks. So we thank the city for, getting the sidewalks cleared and getting us ready for business.
Absolutely. They did a great job. So proud of the mayor, so proud of the city of Waterbury.
Absolutely.
All right, so how did First Thursday go last week?
It was wonderful. I wasn't sure about the turnout because of the impending storm, but we had 57 people come out to see Earl McDonald perform with his quartet. They did a great job. He's out of Storrs campus of UConn. They were phenomenal. They were really well received, and it was a great show. Beautiful.
So 57 people.
Absolutely.
Oh man, how's membership? We getting some good numbers?
Yeah, we had 5 new people at First Thursday. We're hearing about us, and we're slowly plugging along and increasing that membership.
All right, that's important. It's a gift. You could give it to them for Valentine's Day. It's the gift that keeps giving. Awesome job on the painters' part. Not like Pollock kind of painters. I'm talking about the hard-working painters with the rollers. They've done a magnificent job on the third floor.
Absolutely. We are currently reinstalling the Whittemore Gallery with our next upcoming exhibit, which is the American Master Prints from Torrance Kelly.
Right.
But also on that second floor, we just finished reinstalling our 20th Century Gallery. We've renamed it the Modern Painting Gallery, and that's really exciting because that really hasn't been changed out too much in the last 2 years. It's been pretty stagnant. That's our permanent collection. So our curators and our director went through. They took everything down, repainted. It looks fresh in there. It's almost entirely new pieces from our collection, so it's a brand new room to look at, and we're very excited about the outcome.
Sweet. Everything sounds pretty productive.
Absolutely.
All right. Tell the crew out there that I will see them at the board meeting. I think we have a board meeting on the 21st. I will speak to you in 2 weeks. Stephanie Harris with the Madrak Minute. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Mike. Bye.
All right. So rocking and rolling here. All right, healthcare and you. This is the first run. I'm going out and getting sponsors. I have two very talented attorneys on the phone, Mark F. Williams and Chuck Stohler. And I also have on the other line Jason Madrak. He is the Chief Marketing Officer of the new Access Health CT. So can you link all the callers in?
I can link two of them at the same time.
Beautiful. Let's do it to it.
This
Healthcare and you, Michael Regan.
Hi, it's
Michael.
Jason here.
Perfect. You guys are all on the line. Mark, you with us too?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got Mark F. Williams. We have partner of Carmody and Torrance, Chuck Stohler, Stohler. And we have Jason Madrak, the Chief Marketing Officer for Jason. You want to give us the new name?
Yes, Access Health CT.
Beautiful. So instead of HIX, the Health Insurance Exchange, they have put their think caps on and changed it to Access Health CT, Connecticut's health insurance marketplace, which is great. You gentlemen have the show as long as I can keep you. Let's just keep open lines and have some good banter. What's happening?
Well, Michael, thanks so much. This is Chuck Stohler. Thanks for having us here. This is an important topic, and I'm glad that Jason has joined us as well, because that'll give us a real insight on what's going on with the exchange or the new Health Access Connecticut, which is a great name.
Access Health CT.
I said it backwards, sorry. Access Health CT.
Hey, it's new to all of us. We just found out last night. And so the reason that Jason's on the phone is just to give real credibility to this radio show. These guests are extremely hard to get, especially you and Mark, because you're so brilliant. So what I'd like for you to do is give Carmody and Torrance a plug. Let them know about your February 27th, 2013 and March 28th, 2013 seminars so we can get a good turnout, and how important the exchange, and please, listeners out there, it is here to stay. So that's why Jason and I feel that we should do this on a quarterly basis, maybe go around to also the TV shows, and make sure, besides just going to the Let's Chat seminars, not everyone really wants to get out of the house. So the airwaves are much more accessible. We've got over 38,000 listeners of the show. So please plug Carmody and Torrance a little bit.
All right. Well, thanks again,
My pleasure.
Michael. Let me just say that Carmody and Torrance, which is a long-term institution in Waterbury, we've been here for more than 100 years, and we represent individuals and businesses across the spectrum. But in our labor and employment group, which I had, and Mark is our key benefits lawyer, we are sponsoring a series with the Chamber. There are a couple of other sponsors, and with the Waterbury Chamber, on the Affordable Care Act, and then particularly on the Health Insurance Exchange. And as you said, this is important for your listeners, Michael, there is a meeting on February 27, 2013, on the Affordable Care Act and the impact to your business. And this is, I believe it's at 8 a.m., 8 to 9:15 a.m., and they are held at the Harold Lever Regional Cancer Center.
Perfect.
This first one on February 27, they've got an expert coming from Cohn Resnick, which is an accounting firm in the region, and they have a guy named Gary Straker, who is a certified employee benefits specialist, and he's going to be there to talk about the Affordable Care Act from the employer perspective and also from an accounting perspective. And then the second event is on March 28th, 1 month later, and that's the one that Mark Williams, who's on the phone here, and he'll talk in just a moment, and then Peter Van Loon, who, Jason, I guess Peter might be your boss. He's the Chief Operating Officer of the Connecticut Health Insurance Exchange, and so we will be getting direct information about the exchange. And the title of that program is called the Affordable Care Act and the Connecticut Health Insurance Exchange. How will your business be affected? And so the whole point of that one is to give you the sort of legal overview, but also talk about a practical, here's what's going to happen, here's what it means for businesses, and as what it means for individuals. So it's a pretty exciting program. And again, that program, both of these programs are held at the Harold Lever Cancer Center. The first one is February 27th. The second one is March 28th. And if you want information, probably the best way to do it is to just contact the Waterbury Regional Chamber at 203-757-0701. That's 757-0701. There is a small charge for these seminars, but there will be a terrific amount of information. And so we are trying to get the word out because these have been well attended, and both from a business perspective and from an individual perspective, we hope to have a good audience there.
Absolutely. Okay, Jason, take it away.
Actually, in the spirit of plugging upcoming events, I do want to just reinforce for your audience that we continue to offer opportunities for members of the community, small businesses, and really anyone interested to come out and chat with us at our next round of Healthy Chat meetings, which are starting actually next week on the 19th. This will actually be a continuation of the series, Michael, that you referenced we did last quarter, where we went out to 7 communities across the state and held these Healthy Chat events. They take place in the evening, usually starting around 5:30, and we bring out our CEO, Kevin Coonahan, and also assemble a panel of experts in health policy, health care, health insurance, to basically provide individuals in attendance with an overview of what the health exchange is going to do and accomplish, and then really open it up so we can field questions directly from the audience on any topic that they're willing to ask a question about. So coming up next week on the 19th, we'll actually be out in Norwich, and then on the Thursday, the 21st, we'll be in Willimantic. And then after that, we have 5 additional events. 2/26 will be out in Manchester. On the 28th, we'll be in Meriden. And then on the 5th in Torrington, the 14th in Danbury, and the 19th out in Enfield. And if individuals are interested in getting information about this, about these events, and then specifically the locations for the events, maps to the events, and other information that they might need to attend, they can continue to go to our site, which until Monday is actually going to be hix.ct.gov. And on Monday, we will be unveiling our brand new website, which is actually going to be accesshealthct.com. So I'll plug the new name and the new website, which we hope to have up and running on Monday.
I would just give you a slight plug there. I'm on your existing website, and there's an awful lot of information on there, particularly the press releases. And if anyone is interested in going to that Healthy Chat event, which I know you held in Waterbury, you had a lot of people in Waterbury, was a terrific event. And so, I would give you a plug that you can find a lot of information on that website to explain not only what the exchange is, but what your plans are and what's to be expected in the next year.
Absolutely. Thanks. Really appreciate that. And the events have been great for the exchange. It really is not only an opportunity for us to put information out there into the communities, but we have really thoroughly enjoyed having an opportunity to hear firsthand some of the cares, concerns, questions that both individuals and small businesses have. And certainly we have learned a ton. As you really start to dig in to the law, the ACA, and certainly start to, look at how the exchange is going to impact people on an individual basis, it raises just a whole host of issues. We usually have good responses for most of them, but there's certain things that, we're learning ourselves as we go along, and so it's been a great opportunity to not only get information out, but also learn as well.
And Michael and Jason, I would agree 100% with what Jason just said. We have had quite a number of clients and people come to us with questions, and and particularly Mark Williams, who I'm going to ask to talk here in just a second, is spending a lot of his time talking to employers, and we do represent lots of employers who are coming to terms that they've really got to take some action now, as well as individuals who are asking how that impacts them. And one of the things that, unless you think it's not a great idea, we often get questions that, as much press as there's been about this and the U.S. Supreme Court decision, et cetera, people still have very basic questions about what does this mean. And we find it very helpful to take a step back and just explain what this is, what the exchange means, and what it does mean to have an individual mandate. And so, it might be wise, and Mark's probably the best guy to do that, to spend just a minute or two talking about what the basics of this means, and why it is important that people pay attention and maybe attend one of these Healthy Chats, but to get the information they need to go forward.
Mark, you going to take over?
Yeah, just hello. Yeah, I actually attended the Waterbury Healthy Chat late November, and it was very, very useful. And I'm going to try to get to the one in Manchester that Jason just mentioned on 226.
Actually, it was fantastic.
You
had people in the community as well. Christine Bianchi from the Staywell Center.
Yep.
Jason, that was where I was lucky enough to meet you. You were nice enough to give me your card. That's why you're on the air now.
I appreciate that very much, Michael.
It was honestly, it makes you feel like you want to be part of it, and knowledge is power. So if we can get this out on a quarterly basis, Mark, you did such a phenomenal job in the fall at the Lever Center. You dominated that the seminar. All right, take it away.
Yeah. Just as a refresher, if people have forgotten, beginning in 2014, the goal of the Affordable Care Act is that everyone is required to have health insurance or pay a penalty, which starts off as a very modest penalty, but the penalty/tax is designed to incent people to sign up for coverage. And if individuals are not receiving coverage from their employer, they're going to be required to obtain insurance, which will now be obtained through, let me see if I say this right, Access Health Connecticut. And there'll be 4 levels of plans offered through Access Health Connecticut. They've labeled them by metals: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, ranging from 60 to 90% coverage of benefits. And if I got, Jason, I just want to verify with you, my understanding is the exchange will calculate any subsidies that individuals may be entitled to, such as a premium tax credit. Is that correct?
You are exactly right. So when you come to the site, you'll be able to enter just a couple of brief pieces of information and really find out what you qualify for, of which the advanced premium tax credits are of keen importance, because that's really the mechanism in place to allow individuals to purchase a plan at a pretty substantial discount, given the tax incentives that the federal government will be contributing to the price of that premium in order to lower their out-of-pocket. So all of that is available, and you can transact on that right on our site.
The question I have is, the website is great, and it's got this language that says what the exchange really is a marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that, but does it really mean that when someone logs on there and then puts his or her individual information on there, that the tax subsidies and the premiums will be adjusted, and a person will get kind of an individualized quote on the premium? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yep, you're exactly correct. And really the way that that's facilitated is through an awful lot of data coordination between our site and then certainly the state and federal government. So we have numerous systems that need to be pinged, if you will, to verify income levels, citizenship status, et cetera. But all that takes place through our site. So when you do enter your information, it'll be able to tell you instantly how much you qualify for in terms of those tax credits to discount the premium, and you'll get that quote and everything right on the site.
Jason, the question my clients are asking is,
yes,
with the subsidies, obviously Waterbury is very diverse, and to tell you the truth, I'm so proud that my business is in Waterbury right now. The community is digging us out as we speak. So in Waterbury, we have a lot of diversity. You're going to have lower income, you're going to have very high income, and the majority is going to be in the middle. How is it going to be income verified? There's a lot of clients that ask me, especially at my machine shops, that are saying, well, if the employer does a defined benefit contribution where they just give me an amount, how are they going to know how much money I make? A good friend of mine makes about $12,000 a year. How is the exchange going to verify their income to make sure someone's not just putting a number that's not true?
Yeah, so it will be verified with the IRS, and for this initial year, it's going to be based on your prior year's modified adjusted gross income. For individuals that make, let's say we take your friend as an example, who make an income that technically doesn't require them to file for taxes, usually at those income levels you actually qualify for a Medicaid, and so in that instance, there wouldn't be necessarily that verification process.
Right, they should more go towards the Silver Connect card and not maybe be in an exchange individual.
But what's also important to note is, the insurance exchange site will be able to determine, again, not only your eligibility for tax credits to lower your premium, but it'll also be able to determine if you are eligible for Medicaid and help to facilitate enrollment, again, right through our site as well. So it is one-stop shopping for both of those services, and that's really in the spirit of what's called no wrong door, meaning there's one location where you can go, instantly find out what you qualify for, whether that's premium tax credits or whether that's Medicaid eligibility, and then not have to go to yet another site or another resource or call someone else, but you can actually facilitate enrollment in both of those right on that site.
So the site will coordinate with the individual's Social Security number. It'll go to the IRS.gov and come back that quickly for verification?
Yes, it will.
Brilliant. Nicely done.
And it sounds so easy when we say it like that, but obviously there's a tremendous amount of work being done here behind the scenes in order to make sure that all those pipes are connected, that the data is tested, accurate, verified, and certainly secure, and that all of that can happen as quickly as possible so that individuals can go through the shopping and enrollment process quickly and concisely, and certainly in a very consumer-friendly manner.
And Jason, I know from the IRS that some of the regulations, Mark knows far better than I, but some of the regulations have been massive and they've delayed certain things. Like I know there was a plan that employers were supposed to notify employees about the exchange by March 1, but that's now been delayed.
It is delayed.
And it seems that this is going sideways a little bit. Are you really on track to make it for 2014?
We are on track to actually have the exchange open for business as of October 1st of this year, and that's really the opportunity when individuals will have to go in and, again, shop and, more importantly, actually facilitate an enrollment in a plan with coverage beginning on January 1st, 2014. So our eyes are on that prize, and we have every intention of making that date.
How about the carriers? I mean, I know that you're going through a process of getting the carriers to express some interest. Where is that side of the equation?
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So beginning last year in the fourth quarter, we did start what was commonly referred to as our QHP solicitation process. And by QHP, that stands for Qualified Health Plan, but is really just a fancy word for insurance carriers. So we did engage with the carriers here in the state, and we did ask them to submit non-binding letters of intent to participate on the exchange. Those letters were due really about the first week of January this year, and we were very, very pleased to get letters back from 9 carriers here in the state, 5 medical and 4 dental, and those carriers have been, good partners and have certainly expressed their willingness and a partnership to come onto the exchange in October of this year.
Chuck?
And really, without their participation, we don't have much of an exchange. So, it's very important to make sure that we work with them to make sure that the system functions well for the residents, and make sure that we have products on the shelf to actually enroll them in.
Go ahead, Carmody. Go ahead, Carmody Law. You guys.
Yeah, this is Mark Williams again. One other thing that I think Peter Van Loon, Chief Operating Officer, and I are going to talk about at the March presentation is the ability of small employers to use the exchange. I think the abbreviation has been SHOP.
There's a portion of the exchange which will be referred to as the SHOP exchange, and that basically stands for Small Business Health Options Program. It seems like we swim in a sea of alphabet soup over here sometimes. But that will be the portion of the exchange that a business owner would be able to go to set up and be able to offer insurance products to their employees. And then that would be the exact same site that those employees themselves would then go to make their selection. And that site, it will be fully integrated with the overall consumer site. When individuals come to the site in October, they'll be able to determine, or rather let us know whether they're shopping as an individual or shopping as a small business owner. But all of that will take place within the confines of the same site.
And again, my understanding is that will be available for employers with up to 50 employees, or is it up?
Yes.
Yep, that is correct. There was some discretion that states had regarding where they could set the parameter for defining a small business, but here in Connecticut, it'll be defined as fewer than 50 employees.
Okay.
And Mark, the state statute's Public Act 11-53 for that.
Thank you.
Connecticut General Assembly.
Another thing we've gotten a few questions about related to healthcare, there will be an incentive for very small employers with 10 to 25 employees with average wages of $25,000 to $50,000. They may be eligible for a tax credit up as, again, for the very small end. The tax credit can be as large as 50% if insurance is purchased from the exchange in 2014. So that's one of the things I am going to talk about further in March, so that employers, small employers with lower wages, understand that they will have an incentive to actually make arrangements for their employees to have insurance through the exchange.
Exactly, and certainly from the exchange's standpoint, that's one of the substantial advantages that we offer small groups who do decide to purchase their coverage for their business through the exchange. Is we're really the only place where you'll be able to take advantage and get those additional tax breaks, which will hopefully be very beneficial to those businesses.
Nice.
But I get it that this is designed to be a virtual marketplace, and people are going to be able to get online and do that. I'm assuming that there will be some real live people behind it, so that, and I'm just envisioning a small business person, really needing to hook up with a live person. How is that going to work from the exchange perspective?
Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you brought that up, because that actually dovetails into a couple of different conversations we could have. One is, from a human standpoint, we will have a very robust call center capability in place to help individuals not only get answers to questions they might have, but also to help facilitate, the selection of a plan and certainly enroll in it. But in addition to that, we also have in-person help, which will be available through two, very important channels. The first would be the current broker network here in the state of Connecticut. Connecticut has a great and vast array of brokers who service individuals and businesses today quite well.
That would be me.
Go ahead.
Right. There's a plug for Michael Regan, right?
Shameless plug.
No, and certainly at the exchange, we value those relationships that we have with the brokers, and we look forward to partnering with them to make sure that we can get the word out on the exchange, the benefits that might be available to their clients, and really work with them to facilitate enrollment in plans with the clients that they have. So that is a major channel, and we certainly envision small businesses, who may have relationships with a broker or might be seeking a broker, could actually benefit from that. The other major channel is actually what Michael had mentioned at the top of the call, which is a navigator program that not only Connecticut is setting up, but actually all states are setting up per the Affordable Care Act.
Yes.
And really what that is a network of individuals that are really community-based and community-focused. These could be faith-based institutions, consumer-focused nonprofits, and other entities like that, who will be trained, will be provided an opportunity to apply for grant funding, and who will be available to individuals in communities beginning later this year to answer questions and also to help them facilitate enrollment in plans as well. So there's really several different layers of outreach.
Yeah, that part was a little confusing to me, and I understand the navigator concept, and I understand those will not be insurance carrier employees, but how do the folks who serve as navigators get paid?
So the navigators themselves will actually, again, receive grant funding, and that grant funding will really be kind of contingent upon the type of outreach efforts that they'll be able to implement. And so the grant amounts will probably range between $5,000 and $10,000, and that'll be used for a host of things. It could be used to purchase equipment such as a laptop or tablet computer. It could be used to maybe bring some individuals on to help run the program for the organization. It could be used for collateral or to coordinate outreach events. And so there's not necessarily a compensation process in play, but rather the issuing of grants in order to make sure that they can adequately perform their duties.
Do you envision that it will be nonprofits and community agencies, like akin to a community action agency? There's a wonderful one in Waterbury, New Opportunities, Inc., and they do a lot of different programs. Are you envisioning that those types of people will provide that? I mean, some of them and several other nonprofits like that provide tax services already. Is that what you're anticipating where these navigators will be located?
Those are prime examples of groups that we would love to be able to partner with for the Navigator program. And the way that this effort is really going to unfold is there will be a competitive RFP process here in Connecticut in order to solicit individuals to apply for these Navigator grants. And then we hope to get a really great response, and then we'll be able to select enough that will be, within our budget per se, and then issue those grants, get those individuals trained, and then get them out into the communities. And I'd also say, too, that we are actually quite proud to announce that we've partnered with the Office of the Healthcare Advocate.
Yes, Victoria Veltri.
Yeah, to actually help us execute this particular program. And, OHA has been such a great, steadfast advocate for consumers here in Connecticut in the health and healthcare arena that it was just a great opportunity to partner with a great agency to launch this program for residents.
Right. I'm a big believer in Victoria, and also my colleague Maureen Smith over there does a great job as well.
Hey, Jason, let me ask you another question that I've gotten from a
Popular topic today, gentlemen, huh? You like that we got Jason on the phone. All right, keep going.
Fire away.
Let me ask you another question about, and I'm getting from some of our clients here at Carmody and Torrance, and that is, what about the affordability of all this? If you read the national news, there's a lot of political stuff going on about certain states not doing the exchange, and they come up with lots of various reasons why not. But one that you do hear about is affordability, and some of my clients have expressed that this all sounds like a terrific idea, but when the insurance companies put in their applications, and when the rubber really hits the road, that the numbers for these plans are going to be pretty high. What's your sense of that, and what's the exchange view on that point?
Yeah, so, certainly affordability as it relates to health insurance is a topic that's been in circulation for decades, for lack of a better time frame. And certainly with the exchange coming into the marketplace, we offer several mechanisms to hopefully make insurance more affordable and certainly more accessible for individuals. But, certainly as we launch, there are a whole host of other things which need to be addressed well beyond the scope of the exchange to address, the long-term trend of health insurance premium increases. It's a major topic. It takes several individuals to come to the table to solve that, and we look forward to participating in those conversations and being part of them. But we're one piece of that much larger cost puzzle.
Right.
But I will say this, as it relates specifically to what folks might see when they come to the exchange in October. Right now, per the Affordable Care Act, there are caps in place regarding how much any individual will be able to pay towards their premium as it relates to where they fall on that federal poverty line scale. And so, at the very highest end, which would be 400% of FPL, individuals and families in those categories would never pay more than 9% of their modified adjusted gross income towards a health insurance premium. And for many individuals today, certainly as we've been out in the communities, we hear terrible stories of people, paying 15, 16, 20% of their yearly income towards health insurance premiums. So for folks in that category, they now have a ceiling in place, and then certainly the premium tax credits that we talked about earlier would be what would offset that delta between their 9% and then the yearly cost of those plans. Now, as you go down the scale on the FPL chart, all the way to, let's say, 138% of FPL, those individuals will never pay more than 2% of their annual income towards the cost of health insurance premiums. And so, again, the delta would be made up by those premium tax credits. So, as you start to think about, what that equates to in terms of a monthly premium contribution for those folks, you're getting some pretty substantial discounts through that tax process to hopefully make those plans, more affordable. Now, we've heard firsthand from several folks that, if you get the plan down to $100, that's great, but that's still $100 that I don't have. And we are, 100% sympathetic to those types of situations. Again, the program and the system that we're rolling out here and helping Connecticut implement, does make some fairly substantial strides towards getting those premium costs down on an out-of-pocket level. But we're certainly here and hope to engage to be able to do even more in future years.
Incredible. Beautifully done.
Jason, I'm avoiding having any sort of political argument because that would be for a different day.
Yeah, that's Larry Rifkin's show. That's not my show.
Right.
This is healthcare,
and folks say to me, but that all sounds great. But if the real cost of these health insurance premiums, because of the cost of health care in Connecticut, is high, you can have people limited based on their income, but all that will mean is that the delta between what people are paying and what it actually costs will be larger, and from an overall standpoint, can create a sort of a bigger problem and more of a deficit problem. Being frank about that.
I wouldn't disagree with you one bit, and certainly I think most of the reports that I've seen shows that Connecticut has about the fourth highest healthcare cost in the country.
Third,
and given that we have collectively as a nation the highest healthcare cost in the world, that puts Connecticut, I guess, third in the world for healthcare costs. So this obviously is a gigantic issue. And again, I would just reiterate that there are several different components to this, but it is an unsustainable trend, to your point. And so, putting a system in place which allows us to, gradually make the transfer, get more people into the system is great. But there are some long-term issues that definitely need to be addressed, and I would not disagree at all with that.
One suggestion that's out there is, let's just give it a try now. We'll evaluate it as we go. The consumer-driven health plans caught on quickly, so it's not going to be. And I do credit Kevin's beautiful wife with the thinking of the names. Kevin said in one of the seminars that she actually thought of the names of the plans. So I don't really feel that the top tier plan is going to be the popular seller. It'll be more affordable care. And Chuck, I sell insurance. I'm out there every day. My clients are getting now 14% rate increases on average by United Healthcare, Connecticut, and Anthem, because everyone's sort of just bracing for this. It's a plan renewal, which you mean you renew once a year, whether it be December, January, February, March, April. It doesn't matter what month. But you keep that health premium for the entire year. And before, the underwriters were doing a great job by giving 2% and 3%, maybe 4% rate increases. But now, across the board, I've got 100 clients in April that are getting 10 to 14% rate increases.
As we said, I think it reflects the cost of health care, which is the issue here. And this plan, I think you talked about accessibility. I still have the concern, or maybe say it differently, many of my clients have concerns about affordability.
I agree. Can we agree to table this until the next quarter? Jason will get some steam and you guys will get some ammo. We've got to plug some of the sponsors that pay for me to be on the air, and we've taken about a half hour. Jason, by the way, your old alma mater, WellPoint, just hired Joseph Swedish. They named him new CEO over there.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah, I was on the phone with Fusco and Auger, and they bragged about you. They said you were a bigwig over at WellPoint. So we're really, really honored to have you. In Polish, since you do have some Polish roots, Dziękuję.
Right.
And Jason Madrak, Chief Marketing Officer. We also have Mark F. Williams and Chuck Stohler with Carmody and Torrance. It's www.carmodylaw.com if you want to look them up. They've been a guest before. Also, people out there, my producer Tom and producer Nick are doing the YouTube video as we speak. So, Jason, I'll make sure I shoot it to you, and you can use it as just a marketing tool. We didn't sell anything on this. You just put it out there on the YouTube, and it's just easier for people to maybe just listen to the show and find out a lot of knowledge as well. So I'll make sure you get copies of that. I'll send them both to your email addresses.
That sounds fantastic.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being a guest. This is the first time, the first run. We're going to do Healthcare and You quarterly, and I think it was a very successful half hour. Thank you very much for your time.
Great, thank you.
All right, God bless everyone. Time for a commercial break, Tom. All right, we'll be back. Good first run. Thanks for your time.